Focused Mind: How to Take Control of Your Life. Author, Nir Eyal. The book Focused Mind, published in 2019, addresses one of the most common problems of modern life: distraction. Many blame contemporary technology for this issue, but Nir Eyal argues that while smartphones and apps may contribute to the problem, they are not the root cause. In this book summary, Eyal presents a practical 4-part framework to explain the reasons behind distraction and offers strategies to overcome it. So, if you've ever succumbed to procrastination and distraction, are looking to build better habits, or are a parent concerned about your children's relationship with technology, we recommend listening to this book summary. Nir Eyal is a writer, consultant, and instructor specializing in the psychology of technology-driven habits. He has taught at Stanford University's Graduate School of Business and also works as an angel investor, an individual who provides capital for startups. Unlike traditional investors or partners, angel investors rarely interfere in company management. Micro 1. The Guide to Overcoming Distraction. The ability to stay focused is the key to success in both personal and professional life. If you get distracted, you'll likely lose sight of the bright future you envision. So, you have 2 choices. Either focus intently right now and draft your brilliant business plan, or simply enjoy quality time with loved ones. Because the world is full of distractions. Employers increasingly rely on technology infiltrating our lives to assign tasks, and we often lose focus on essential work. So, the question is, how can we stay focused and productive? Nir Eyal, the author of the best-selling book Hooked, which studied addictive products like Facebook and Twitter, has found the antidote to distraction. He calls this remedy the focused mind. In this summary, we'll learn how to master this crucial skill of the modern age, control our distractions, and direct our attention to what truly matters. This micro-chapter answers questions such as: why is wasting time on digital devices more of a symptom than the root cause of distraction? What should you do about inefficient workplace cultures that hinder productivity? How can we recognize and overcome internal and external distractions? Distraction starts within us. Why are we prone to distraction? A common answer is technology. If you've ever tried to disconnect from digital devices, you know that avoiding them doesn't necessarily stop procrastination. Whether doodling on paper or counting books on a shelf, our brains are experts at inventing distractions. To understand distraction, we must discuss triggers, the factors that prompt or compel us to act. These triggers come in 2 forms. 1. External triggers, e.g., pop-up notifications on laptops or phones that come from the outside world. 2. Internal triggers, e.g., boredom or stress that arise from within. Triggers can lead to either traction, moving us toward goals, or distraction, pulling us away. The latter is counterproductive because it diverts us from our objectives. This is why technology alone can't be blamed for distraction. Its root cause is internal. Distraction is often an escape from discomfort, whether physical pain, marital problems, or deep dissatisfaction with one's job. Technology is merely the short wall we blame for our inability to tackle real issues. The bad news? Evolution has wired us for discomfort. Our ancestors survived by remaining dissatisfied, constantly learning and adapting. Thousands of years later, this legacy persists in our tendency toward negativity bias, painful experiences, and quick boredom with new situations, making us vulnerable to distraction. The good news? We don't have to be slaves to our negative emotions. We can learn to master and control them. Micro 2. Mastering your internal triggers through reassessment. Picture this. You're sitting at your desk when that familiar wave of exhaustion hits you. Before you know it, you've spent 10 minutes mindlessly scrolling through Instagram. This happens to most of us daily, but don't worry. There are ways to overcome these internal triggers. 1. Reframe your thoughts about triggers. Start by asking, is this content truly worth my attention? A simple method is to log your triggers. The next time you feel yourself succumbing to distraction, grab a pen and paper and jot down what emotion led to it, e.g., sudden anxiety, anger at your boss, the situation you were in, how you felt after engaging with the trigger. Doing this regularly helps you identify patterns. Once you recognize your triggers, you can let them go. Psychologist Jonathan Bricker suggests a visualization technique. Imagine sitting by a stream, watching your distracting thoughts float away on leaves. 2. Make tasks more engaging. Why do we gravitate toward apps or mobile games? Because they're designed to be rewarding and immersive. As interactive computing expert Ian Bogos notes, these apps hook us with clever reward systems and challenges. Apply this insight to mundane tasks by breaking work into small, achievable levels, adding mini rewards, e.g., a coffee break after completing a task. 3. Reassess your potential. Your self-belief shapes your capabilities. If you tell yourself, "I'm powerless against distraction," it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Instead, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as you would a good friend. When your inner critic says, "You're lazy or distracted," respond with kindness. Everyone struggles with focus sometimes. I have the ability to improve. By reframing triggers, gamifying tasks, and nurturing self-belief, you'll build resilience against distraction. Micro 3. Dedicate specific weekly time for yourself, relationships, and work. If you don't know what you're striving for, it's impossible to determine what's truly distracting you. That's why having a plan is crucial. The key to effective planning is time boxing. Allocating specific blocks in your weekly schedule for dedicated tasks. However, keep in mind that this method doesn't guarantee you'll achieve your goals, as some things remain beyond your control. For example, if you go to bed at your scheduled time but don't feel tired, your sleep routine might still falter. Proper time boxing simply provides a framework that makes success possible. In other words, if you don't control your time, you may fail to accomplish what you've planned. How does time boxing work in practice? While it might sound counterintuitive, the best starting point isn't scheduling tasks, it's first blocking out quality time for yourself. The reason is simple. If you neglect self-care, everything else, your work, relationships, and well-being suffers. This means prioritizing essentials like regular meals, adequate sleep, personal hobbies, and relaxation. Step 1. Prioritize yourself. Before anything else, reserve time for your own needs. Step 2. Time box your relationships. Here, you safeguard the parts of life that foster intimacy and connection, the things that keep you grounded. Since relationships are vital, actively prioritize them by scheduling regular date nights with your partner, setting bi-monthly gatherings with friends, allocating 1 to 2 hours daily to play with your kids. These bonds are what fuel your motivation to work and stay focused. Step 3. Structure your work time. Even if you can't control your work hours, you can control how you use them. For example, block 2 hours in the morning for deep work. Reserve focused afternoon time for emails. Share your schedule with colleagues to minimize interruptions. By time boxing, you create boundaries that protect your focus, ensuring you're productive and present for what matters most. Micro 4. Protect your focus by eliminating distractions. So far, we've explored ways to manage internal triggers to maximize daily focus. In this section, we'll zoom out and show you how to control external distractions in your environment. Like programmers reverse engineering software, you can hack these distractions, rewriting their code to work for you. 1. Borrow from aviation. Create no interruption zones. In the 1980s, Airlines instituted a critical rule: no crew member may distract pilots during takeoff or landing, the most vulnerable moments of flight. Apply this at work by identifying your personal takeoff landing times, e.g., morning deep work sessions. Using visual signals, e.g., a colored card or hat on your desk, to indicate do not disturb. Pre-educating colleagues about these signals to enlist their support. Key, make your focus state visible to others. 2. Tame email and messaging overload. The average office worker receives almost 100 messages daily. These habit-forming pings train us to react-shattering focus. Combat this by categorizing emails into 2 folders. Today, urgent, same-day replies needed. Later, non-urgent, schedule weekly reviews. Processing the Today folder in one batch, minimizing daily disruptions. Result: fewer inbox intrusions, sustained concentration. Micro 5. Meetings, chats, news, all distractions can be managed. Emails aren't the only productivity killers at work. Useless meetings that lead nowhere often devour your most valuable time. Fortunately, there's a simple fix for this common office problem: organization. 1. Fix meetings with one rule. Implement a policy requiring anyone who calls a meeting to provide a clear agenda outlining what will be discussed. Specify the action items needed to solve the problem. This raises the cost of scheduling meetings and drastically reduces unnecessary ones. 2. Tame endless group chats. Tell colleagues you're in focus mode and can't be interrupted. Instead, set a specific time each day for discussions. 3. Stop news from hijacking your focus. Near Eel's method saves interesting articles for later. Uses text-to-speech to listen to them during walks. Bonus: avoids distractions and adds exercise to your day. 4. Declutter your tech. Phone, laptop. Delete unused apps. Reorganize the rest for quick access. Desktop. Follow the author's everything folder method. Keep only your current work visible. Store everything else in a folder labeled Everything and use search when needed. Micro 6. Make a pact with yourself to prevent distraction. You're now ready to fend off disruptive distractions, but this isn't a battle you can win in a single day. To remain impenetrable and maintain a consistently focused mind, you must combat distraction daily with smart strategies. And it's less daunting than it sounds. Here's how. 1. The effort pact. Make bad habits harder. A practical way to curb unwanted behavior is to add friction. Tools like the Self-Control app can help by blocking distracting websites, restricting email checks to scheduled times. 2. The Cost Pact. Penalize failure. This pact imposes real consequences for missed goals. For example, the author vowed to burn a $100 bill every time he skipped a workout. Result? Over 3 years, not a single dollar was lost, proof of its effectiveness. Note, while extreme, this works for measurable goals but isn't universal. Habits like nail biting, driven by subconscious triggers, may need a different approach. 3. The Identity Pact. Redefine who you are. This leverages self-perception. For instance, a meat eater switching to vegetarianism will struggle if they think, "I'm giving up meat." But if they adopt the identity, "I'm a vegetarian," the change sticks. They're not depriving themselves, they're being themselves, applied to focus. Don't say, "I'm trying to avoid distractions." Declare, "I'm someone who doesn't get distracted." Your future behavior aligns with the identity you choose. Micro 7. Workplace distraction is a symptom of dysfunctional culture. While some distractions stem from personal habits, others are rooted in organizational structures. In this chapter, we examine systemic distractions and why inefficient work cultures are often to blame. 1. The problem defined. When a company is poorly organized, employees' efforts to focus are constantly undermined. Key signs of dysfunction include excessive on-call expectations. In the smartphone era, companies increasingly demand 24/7 responsiveness to emails and requests. Resisting this norm may even cost jobs. Mismanaged workloads. The core issue isn't technology, but cultures that overload employees without prioritizing focus. 2. The solution: psychological safety. To fix this, companies must create spaces where employees can voice concerns without fear of punishment, receive actionable feedback from leadership. Why it works: when leaders normalize mistakes and solicit input, they foster a learning culture where risks are encouraged, greater employee autonomy and control. 3. Practical steps for change. Dedicated feedback channels. Let employees share frustrations, e.g., anonymous surveys or venting sessions. Leadership accountability. Managers must respond to feedback with visible improvements. Even small actions build trust. Micro 8. Raising focused children starts with understanding their distractions. Today's children live in a very different world. Instead of playing outside and engaging in physical activities with friends like past generations did, they spend most of their time glued to phones, tablets, and TVs. But before we judge, let's ask, why are kids so dependent on digital devices? The root cause: psychological malnourishment. As human behavior researchers Richard Ryan and Edward Decay explain, excessive reliance on tech stimuli often signals unmet psychological needs. Just like adults, children thrive when 3 core needs are met. 1. Autonomy, the freedom to make choices without coercion. 2. Competence, the ability to learn and grow. 3. Relatedness, meaningful connections with others. Yet, many kids today lack these essentials in their offline lives. Schools restrict them with rigid rules. Homes burden them with parental expectations. Standardized tests stifle creativity, setting them up for frustration. Unstructured playtime with friends dwindles. No wonder they escape online. It's the only space where they can explore freely, socialize independently, feel in control. The solution: nourish their minds. To reduce digital distraction, fulfill their psychological needs offline. Grant age-appropriate autonomy, e.g., letting them choose hobbies. Celebrate small wins to build competence. Prioritize face-to-face family time and friendships. Final thoughts. Key takeaway: while technology amplifies distraction, it's not the villain. The real issue lies in unmet needs. One practical tip: when distracted, delay the urge for just 10 minutes. Often, you'll become absorbed in your task and forget the distraction entirely.